All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Owarimonogatari, episode 10. All right, we got ourselves a fight on our hands.
Yep, and potentially the first actual fight we've had in a long time. Because, we've had, pretenses of fights or fights that were about to happen, but then we're, finished really quickly.
Right,
but this...
immediately off-screen resolved.
Right, yeah. Or some crazy blast just out of nowhere that immediately eviscerates the opponent. But here, we might actually get a serious throwing down.
Yeah, and there's aspects of this that tie back to a lot of other things that we've seen in the past. So the question is, why now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And why attack here? So,
and what's Gein's play in all of this?
Yeah, exactly. Questions that need answering.
Yep.
And also, we are only 3, and I feel like this is something for a party of 5. So the DM...
That's true.
DM didn't really ramp things up that well. I mean, we did face off the armored samurai, so...
Right, well, and this is probably the next evolved form of that or something.
Right.
So...
But, I mean, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, we're going to be starting the episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. It's a monkey crab chimera.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dang.
Yeah.
All right. Ha 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 ha! Let's do this.
Wait.
Oh no. Oh wow.
No. That's off to a good start.
Ah, crap. Oh, this is no good.
Wait.
Oh, okay. Right.
So what's Shinobu's plan?
I don't know. Okay. Aragi, your timing is off.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Distracted.
Okay.
Oh, let's go. Yeah.
Okay. Bringing up that fact again.
Yeah. Cool. Whoa!
Oh, okay. Just like that.
Yeah, he wasn't even able to hold on because... this is the,
no.
Regeneration and... Oh, snake.
Gotcha, yeah. Oh.
Oh, here she
Nice.
is, yeah.
And just like
awesome.
that. Awesome. That's a pretty low score, all things considered.
I mean, especially if it's out of 100.
Right, if it's out of 100, yeah. It's out of 65.
Yeah, but for her, she's like, I award myself.
I had to actually step in and help, so, you know.
Yeah. Right, it's probably the sum average of all of their scores, you know? So, if anything, it would have been lower, but, you know, she brought up the average, you know, with her score of 91 points, you know? She's like, it's been a while since I was below the 94, you know, below the 94 range.
Yo, dragging me down.
Yeah.
I wonder if her having Araragi do that instead of stepping in earlier, though, is also maybe something of sort of her trying to get him to make it up to her, sort of.
Okay.
Because of their conflict that they had last episode.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. The CD thing kind of looks like a blade if it was curved.
Hmm.
Huh? Oh!
That's,
geez.
Okay. Right. Now she eats it.
Uh-huh.
Already got his jacket off.
Nice, nice. I knew she was gonna make a joke about the smell. Somehow, I just knew. Like, Aww. So is that what he's wearing when they go back? I mean, it's just him going back, but, you know.
Maybe.
His music reminds me of Gladiator. You know, like the fields.
Oh, yeah,
and
I
stuff.
can see that, yeah.
Oh! Ha-ha!
Neat trick.
It's bigger on the inside. You tried to forget all that, didn't you?
Right.
I think she said the we. It's sweet, you know. Opportunity, yes. Oh my god.
But the swing is like perfectly blocking.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah, there's something on the bottom there. I was wondering what that was.
What?
Wow.
What? Freaking nine!
Oh my god.
She's like, hey, I know how you are, Aragi, so boop. Yep. What is it? Fo ho 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 or hora. Yeah. That's actually really good.
That was pretty good.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. It's like he's a voice actor or something. Wow, that's a line. And she knows this. Like think about her past, you know?
Yeah.
So then how does Araragi end up getting it back when he goes to save? Hanakawa. I love Shinobu's confident, like, kind of just, then I shall do this.
Right, yes. Because of course.
Because of course I will, yes. How do you do, fellow kids? Oh my gosh.
What? And saying Owari.
Yeah. Ha! Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, using present tense as well. If you know everything, everything is present tense, Wait, Oshino. Wait, really?
Really?
Yeah. Huh. So what's going on then? Okay.
Don't know.
Please. What?
Wow.
Jesus. But you already know.
Yeah, and you even know what they'd say.
It could be more of a thing of where, like, maybe like it's a this Gein doesn't know. That's why this Gein has a different name, maybe.
Or maybe it's she wants them to figure it out, and by saying all this stuff out loud, that'll help.
Sure. Yeah, that's a much simpler answer. All the honorifics because because Izuko, I guess, has the utmost respect for Shinobu, probably. Huh. Okay, sure. Oh, wait.
I say that I have a senpai. What are you talking about?
Let her enjoy verbal pain.
You're not gonna let her talk this way about me, are you?
Oh, I'm dumb. This is for Suruga's sake.
Oh, right.
She's not saying her real name.
Yeah.
I'm so dumb.
Right. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But the whole vampire killer profession stems from the idea that they can be killed, right?
Oh, well, if there's immortal beings, why couldn't there be resurrection?
Sure.
For beings in general.
All right.
But then who has wait. Wait, so is remember them assembling the the body parts and things? Does that have no. No.
Right. And it took 400 years?
Huh.
And that's why he wants the sword?
Jeez.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Learning things about them. Oh. Yeah, yeah. Taking it in from them in order to reconstitute.
Sure.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
Because of his bond with Shinobu?
Oh. Okay. Yeah, maybe.
You? Really?
There you go. Okay. Okay, so we're seeing the limitations of Gain's abilities here. I like how she's self-aware that she's shady.
Yeah.
Hmm. Oh my gosh, are we doing this?
Really?
Are we doing this?
Really? Right.
Whoa, cool. I like it. Wow. Oh. You were the perfect soil for my my tree to grow. Oh. Wow.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Wow, here we go.
Yep.
All right. Yep. Tracking. Kind
but
of.
Why are you present?
I mean, prescience, perception. It's as if she's present, probably.
Sure.
Hmm. Wait, was it something with the sword, maybe?
Possibly.
Oh, geez, that's hellish.
Wow. Just drifting dust.
Constantly trying to recovering and then just falling apart, but it was just, yep.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's a fate worse than death right there. Holy shit. Oh, sure.
Are they just going to do the thing where eventually he regenerated in a cave or something?
Probably.
Wow. Oh. Nice.
Yep.
Right. Yay. Wow.
Wait a minute. Whoa, hold
on. Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Hold on.
Now, actually, 15 years ago, this is Aragi's senior year.
I know.
So who do we know that was 15?
Well, Ogi is supposed to be a first year.
Wait.
Like it's really like
no. But yeah, I mean,
like Ogi is the biggest mystery we've got other than the darkness, really.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that in some ways I don't feel as really that the mystery of Ogi is that mysterious anymore. But you know, yeah, I don't think it's gonna be something necessarily that it's actually like Ogi, but maybe it's something that's maybe attached itself to Araragi, and this is more of some kind of historical kind of cycle that's continuing. Yeah. All right. Well, holy exposition, Batman. We're just gonna have like another episode of Gein telling us, "Yo, you want to know what things are like from my perspective? You want to know why I've been trying to make Shinobu a god all this time?"
Right. So, and the thing is that we were still kind of debated with this episode.
Yeah.
And that the end of it is that was 15 years ago.
Right. That's a great twist, because then it just leaves us guessing about a whole bunch of things.
Yeah.
Because it seems strangely timed close to around the ages of a lot of our characters.
Right.
Here.
It's the why without the implications, right?
Right. So,
so I'm guessing there is the possibility that I suppose that it could have been something where it latched onto Araragi or something like that. And that's why he's, important and all that stuff. But I don't think that's what's being implied here.
Mm-hmm.
But what is being very much implied is that the entity basically regrew and had another life, right? It didn't just completely repair itself to the point of being the way it was before.
Right.
It essentially lived over again.
Right.
So,
and then it's been chasing Shinobu, basically.
Right. And if it is Araragi, that would explain why he had the run-in with Shinobu.
Except the fact that we've seen the darkness entity completely separate, it would have to be something like it would have to be something where it's not just one. There's not just one simple answer to it. It's a little bit more multidimensional.
Yep.
Otherwise, we end up having this fight with the aberration as it is, this amalgamation of aberrations.
Over very quickly.
Defeated. Nearly got Suruga though.
Yes.
So that's a thing. But
and Gein freaking leaving the postage stamp or whatever with the
underneath the swing,
the swing, like on the bottom of the swing.
Gein, you're hilarious.
Yep, there you go.
On the subject of Gein, though, there were two big things I think we got with regards to Gein this episode, though. One, we now know where her limitations lie. Because she doesn't know necessarily the results of her own interference, she doesn't actually know everything.
Right.
Meaning, one of the things that's really important, and I'm glad they cleared this up, important with someone that says that they know everything, though they have some extreme level of prescience, is that they're kind of exaggerating. They don't actually have the ability to know everything.
Maybe know everything about, within the present or something like that.
Right.
Although...
Yeah, which isn't the case here.
Right.
What I think it is that Gein has the ability to know everything that exists and how probably everything will go as Gein makes little probable decisions and stuff. But when they send, when Gein sends an idea, a specific manipulation a certain way, Gein doesn't know, she doesn't know exactly how they're going to respond. It doesn't necessarily go out towards then the decisions of others.
Sure. The idea that she knows what, if she knows everything, she would know why all the things happen. So, so she can know what happens. She knows that Araragi is going to be underneath that swing, right?
Right.
She knows they're going to defeat the aberration, no problem, all that stuff. But when it comes to her interfering with it, that's probably where it gets mucky. And yet, it's probably also where she gets the most done when she spends a lot of time focused on it. So what I think it's that time keeps passing. Sure.
But Gein can only be in one place.
Right.
So she has to constantly utilize other people in order to do things.
Sure.
But maybe when she gets close to a situation, she's like, okay, now I've got a lot of really good vision here. I can practically read everyone's mind, thoughts, memories, and everything. But still, people have that slight opportunity to just deviate off of the predictable course.
Yep. Human will. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's a good thing, I would say, because otherwise Gain being in the story is just a little bit too much for me. If she's just actually, omniscient. Like it's a bit crazy, because then you have to assume that when she says something is a mistake, she's communicating her failure as a way to manipulate the environment around her, aka when she's doing this to Araragi, maybe she's like saying this just so that she feels more relatable and more willing to Araragi feels
that shady One-san.
Exactly. So that's still a possibility of what they're doing here, like of what's actually going on in the story. But I think that it's good we have the limitation here. The other thing is Gain lying about being a Gain and saying that she's an Oshino, specifically, I would say, for Suruga's sake. And that has to be it.
Yeah, and Shinobu definitely seemed to pick up on that very quickly with the whole thing of, yes, you look so much like him. And it's like, I personally don't see the resemblance at all, you know? And then she's like, oh yeah, a lot of people say that, it's like...
and then later Shinobu's like, all right, are you gonna like this one's an amateur. Are you gonna like
let
just
her
give her what for
me?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This episode, I feel like I'm still grappling with what it means, because we got so much revealed here, and yet it needs the other half, right?
Well, yeah. Like, in some ways, we didn't get actually a lot revealed here. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure, yeah.
Like, we kind of had recapped just how much Gain does know.
Sure.
Like, and just kind of bringing us along the context. And it's more regarding... So we did get new stuff, but it is more regarding this entity, the first kin of Shinobu, rather than the actual answers to questions that we already had. It's bringing in new questions and then answering those immediately.
Right.
So I think that's good.
And that is one of those things that I was always wondering how they were going to go into that. Like when I would think about like other arcs that they might bring up in Monogatari and like where they would be in the timeline and things like that.
Right.
I figured that we might end up getting an actual arc where we go back in time completely to like when Shinobu, like the stuff that she talked about, and actually see it happen, right?
Right. And we did get a flashback that was like that, but not an actual time travel
but not an actual like time travel thing or an arc focused on it. So having this here where we're saying, okay, this is the tie-in from that thing that was sort of left pseudo unresolved, or Shinobu she never really wanted to focus on it, because it's a sensitive thing.
It's a sensitive part of her past, understandably.
And now we have it here coming into focus, which makes sense because this is, Shinobu I don't think really has gotten truly focus arcs other than really Kabuki.
And Kizu.
And Kizu, right.
But no future ones. Where
so it was like, where was that going to come from? Probably from here. This is a great way to do it and bring it in. And if there's extra relevance or connective tissue and whatnot, because, all right, this person survived the 400 years, finally was able to regenerate somehow, and is one of these characters that we already know. Okay.
Right.
All right.
So... what do you think they're drawing a parallel with by showing us the story of this vampire constantly trying to reconstitute itself, survive, just plugging along through life?
Well, it's an impressive story on the surface level, right? The idea of a vampire surviving like that and stuff, that's pretty crazy. It also gives some potential future insight into how Shinobu's story is going to be resolved. Because if she won't just die, right? Like in the case of the other than like by being, say, fully drained by Araragi, right?
Right.
Then what is her story resolution going to be? Because there's this part of me that feels like she could get a move out of the story kind of resolution, similar to Hachikuji but different. So the fact that she is not going to die except for something like that is good to know.
Yeah. Okay.
As far as like maybe relevance to Araragi's plight and the plight of the characters within, just sort of how hard life can be, because that was one of the things that if they were going to make some connection with one of the characters also being this past figure, right? I was a little bit potentially worried about is, does that take away from the sense of agency that they have as a person and their struggle and their journey and all the things that they've learned up till now?
Right. In that respect, it kind of makes sense for them to be a new character.
Right. So with, say, Ogi, like, I'm like, okay, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. As I'm with you, but as I'm starting to think about it more and more, it just doesn't really work.
Yeah.
It just doesn't really work in my mind.
Yeah, because then where's the connection to like Araragi specifically, and why act in the way that they've been acting? And... one random character that has been set up since the beginning of the story, and we've never had focus on. Oh my god. Who?
Where did the other snake go? Who killed Kaiki or attacked Kaiki? What if?
I mean,
what if?
Okay.
I mean,
I feel like that was set up to be something where like it's not going to, like, it doesn't need to be answered or resolved thing. Like they definitely could.
Dude, no, like, if anything, Bake is constantly being referenced back for a bunch of, like, little things here and there to be basically foundation for setting up future story. And this amalgamation, this aberration had Snake, like, had the Snake at the last little bit when it was fighting back.
Sure.
It never encountered Sengoku in this whole bit here, right?
Yes. Although the same is also true for
what? True for
Senjugahara.
Well, that you made up a point of saying, what if Senjugahara part came from Araragi?
Yeah. Well, in one of the interesting potential questions about this here is if somehow, as far as like the whole 15 years thing doesn't line up quite exactly with Araragi, right? But
right, it does.
As far as thematic relevance and things like that, and the questions that Gein was posing of why is all this stuff happening to you, it would make sense for there to be some connection to Araragi and him being, Shinobu turning him into a vampire again and all that stuff. If he is some kind of reincarnation of her previous servant, or then it would make sense for this aberration to then be some sort of manifestation of that side of himself that he needs to deal with in Owari in the end, right? And so it has the traits and properties of all the different aberrations that Araragi has come into contact with over the course of the series.
But it's not. It's missing some. So then it doesn't make sense from that standpoint. So what, like... First, just, like, go with me on just the Sengoku angle. Why does it have the snake? Like, you can't... Like, I don't think it can be explained right now.
Well, okay. Here's one thing. If we go by the ones that are missing, the main one that's missing is Hanakawa, right?
I mean, yeah.
But that was one that Gein specifically said was an exception, Her whole, aberration situation and whatnot, right?
But it would have to then eat, basically, or kind of...
But the ones that
she encountered with the other ones. And there's other aberrations here that, have to do with the Fire Sisters, and they're not involved in this either, so...
the Phoenix was mentioned, and then Karna was a fake from Kaiki.
Yeah, but no Phoenix in the form of this thing. It's only the crab,
true.
The monkey, and then at the very end... the snake.
Yeah,
I find it personally, I find it actually quite interesting about the order. The fact that the crab and the monkey were the ones on display, and the snake just wasn't really, aware, but it was coming from the head. It makes sense because, the Medusa kind of the
sure,
the
and also the order of appearance in the show and.
Okay, yeah, that's a little meta, but I'm meaning more in the stance that the snake one is a little bit more integral to the nature of the thing itself, in that it was one of the first ones that it got, aka way back in Bake, with that whole thing there. Because it's I'm just looking for mysteries that are currently unsolved. And if we assume that every mystery, for the most part, with regards to a character that we know has to exist, is set up, there is a possible connection at the very least between the fact that when Kaiki ends up getting attacked by some kid, he's like, oh, it must have been someone who's upset about the stuff, the scamming that I did. And we know that the snake that went off from that whole kind of failed attempt to help exorcise Sengoku back in Bake, you know, had like it had the possibility. Well, but we theorize, and I think it was even hinted at, that it rebounded back towards.
It was straight up said,
Right. So that kid would be around Sengoku's age, and Sengoku is a first year. So I feel like there's something there. Now, again, this is coming from the same theory crafter that immediately blurted out Ogi, and now is like very quickly thinking about it and going, that doesn't make sense at all. So maybe I'm missing something with this theory as well.
I feel like this is in sort of the standard fare for Monogatari stylistically, where Nisio Isin will give a lot of information, right, that helps you really recontextualize things, but it doesn't help you settle on sort of a correct pattern for how things are. It just sort of jostles up everything and makes you start to wonder, right? And your brain goes into all different directions and things like that. And then you know, in the next segment, it'll then help you condense sort of all that sort of theory material that had been thrown up into the air, right?
Okay. I feel like other than the part with regards to the crab, that does feel like something that, like, we're going to get, like, specific tie-ins that will show that the aberration that the vampire kin is, you know, he eats other, you know, aberrations. He would have had to get it from somewhere. And he would have to get it, I would say, particularly from the source, unless we're going with, and I don't really, like, dislike it or anything, but the idea that he got the crab already from our boy Araragi. But again, I'm not really sold on that entirely either. So I would almost assume that if we're going to get more context and more exposition regarding exactly what this thing did over the last 15 years, and it's an entirely new character potentially, there's a lot that's going on behind the scenes with regards to things that would make it end up bumping into Senjugahara at the very least. And I'm like, wait, well, okay, when did that happen?
One of the things I am a little bit curious about is because, especially in this episode, and in previous episodes, we've gone a lot into the detail of sort of the mechanics of the aberration muckery that's at play, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We've gone less into the detail of how it pertains to the characters on an emotional, personal level.
Sure. Right? That's true.
So what I'm wondering about is, how does this all tie into the individuals, right? Especially if you do something like, you know, a vampire kin that had survived for 400 years latches itself onto one of them, you know, and for 15 years. So, you know, it's sort of a symbiosis thing or whatever. Who knows, right?
Sure, yeah.
How does that address some internal issue that they have? And when I think about the characters that the story has been focusing on as, like, they have an issue that needs to be resolved.
Right.
It's like almost wholly Araragi, and then beyond that, maybe there would be some inherent connection to Shinobu because it's someone that had a close connection with her in the past, right?
Okay.
And so then maybe there's something there for her to sort of face, resolve, whatever, right?
Sure.
The fact that she said that extreme line of the, you know, the sun could be shining in the night and things like that, and he would still be dead. And given the fact that that isn't the case, makes me wonder if that's some aspect of Shinobu that's in, like, intense denial or something. And then maybe, and this might just be because I like Shinobu, right? But then maybe that's the sort of the angle of how this aberration situation will address the individual in this arc. you know? And then something can be gotten at there. But, like, let me know if you can think of any, but other than Araragi and Shinobu, I can't really think of any right now. And...
Yeah, I'm not really tracking with your theory specifically. Okay. I feel like, one, if the body's getting reconstituted, it's also something where it doesn't necessarily have to even latch on to anyone at all. Like, it just makes its own person.
Yeah.
Because that's what it would do, I would say, based on what we know thus far. So I feel like the idea of it being a parasite or anything like that in general starts to feel a little bit weird the more I think about it. So it's mainly a thing of, are they going to go with the angle of this is a character we already know, or it's an entirely new character? And again, the more I'm thinking about it, the more I think it's at the very least a character that we've either had hinted at or a character we don't know at all. So
one thing that they could also, or Nisui-san could also do, is that maybe the reason it was 15 years ago is because that was actually when Tsukiji was born, and the Phoenix, you know, bonded with her and all that stuff. And maybe it's something where it's not about has it bonded with a particular person, but that it was in this general area, and as a result of that, it attracted other aberrations, starting with, say, the Phoenix and, you know, and things like that. And as it's gotten stronger, it's attracted more, and that's why now there have been a lot of aberrations recently when previously there weren't.
Sure. Okay. So let's go with that angle, because I feel like you're going to see how it breaks down actually in a little bit in a second. I think Gein is drawing the connection that the aberrations are here because they're attracted to the environment, or Gein is saying that the aberrations were attracted to this environment because the vampire situation here is quite high, meaning one attracted the other. Now, if either is the case, then I would say that we're seeing a very independent relationship between these things.
Okay.
Meaning this thing is not at all times throughout the past we've seen an amalgamation of all these aberrations. Meaning it's either attracting its prey to itself to bring them there, and then they latch on to people or whatever. Or it's they're basically just natural little thing, or supernatural little things that wander and then ended up coming to this area because there's something sensitive here, or something.
Attract each other, that kind of thing.
Sure, something like that. But I would say that if anything, the amalgamation part is a localized event in time.
Sure.
The gathering and the consuming, like the actual consuming part, the energy drain part of it, that is something that happened at a specific point in time, which means, in my opinion, that there's no natural connection between the aberrations to this vampire kin. Otherwise, Shinobu would start taking on some cat-like qualities because, she energy drained Hanakawa back, then. Like,
maybe that's actually how we know that it isn't. Well, yeah. Well,
it's interesting.
My idea for the theory wasn't that it like attracted the aberrations here and then like fed on them or something like that, but just that's one of the answers to the questions that Gein brought up of why is this happening? Why is this happening in the first place? Right.
And Gein Morov was doing kind of the...
why is it happening to you?
Right. It's it's the... it's kind of the...
Maybe we should go through the episode and see exactly what Gein said.
But it felt... And it's kind of funny, but it's something that makes you kind of go, oh, Gein, okay, stop stroking your own ego, basically, being like the arrogant storyteller that's like, I actually planned all of this. And it's like, no, Gein, you just saw it happening, and you were the one that we were able to see it, so that's pretty cool, but, know... Yeah, it's a mere coincidence that they and the immortal phoenix that the difficult Kagenui hunted are in this city. Well, the cat is probably a special case. Samurai really did inadvertently step on the tiger's tail. Coincidence must really love you. I like this. Fire and flame must be triggering a trauma for him, having once burned so bright. The idea that...
that's why he left, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. she's taking responsibility.
But with like the 15-year thing and the build up to that.
Oh, the build up to that's way later here. Let me get to that here then. Wishes to die. He left Heart Underblade with all of his bitterness and replica of his demon sword Heartspan. They all lived happily ever after. I already explained that this isn't the whole truth. He turned to ash, turned nothing, so he didn't die. Then we get the very, very visceral description of how much he suffered, or not really suffered necessarily, because he was not conscious. He had no conscious self, but how much non-existence was went through during this time.
Right.
And that's fascinating. That's a crazy
one of the things
bit there. Yeah.
One of the things I was really curious about is, given the whole idea of no conscious self, right? Because you don't have a mind or anything like that, because you're atomized ash, like you're just drifting through the wind, right? Would there be something where there? Well, yeah, and it would seem to be because of this episode, and that would make sense that the identity would still be retained once the regeneration completed.
Okay, so there's a picture of a baby on water here. Looks like nothing, no character I think that we've seen thus far. But I mean, there's a little tuft of hair. I don't think they're trying to make
Well, let it play. Let's see if do we get a.
No. This is it. It's just then she goes.
Yeah.
That was 15 years ago.
Right.
So I think it's more of the thing of 15 years ago. This vampire incarnated or reincarnated actually.
Right.
Into its hometown.
Right. And having it be the form of a baby, that is interesting, because that gives the connotation that there's something new. Right.
What do you mean?
Well, because normally when we've seen vampires regenerate, they regenerate back to the same place they were, right? We haven't seen a vampire like there was the whole thing of Shinobu's age changing because of the loss of power and whatnot.
Right.
And I guess
that could be
this entity is recovering its power.
Right.
Right.
So I think if anything, no, it definitely could end up showing up as a baby and having a very unique life.
I guess the thing that it makes me wonder is that why is it happening right now then?
Or why is it attacking Shinobu or going after Shinobu?
Like maybe it was
now?
Maybe it was in yeah, exactly. Maybe it was in hiding and being like, okay, I have to recover my power or whatever, things like that. But if it retains its sense of identity, then that would, you would assume that it also then would retain memories, right?
Whoa, that's an interesting thing. Yeah. What was lost during the time that it went through this whole existence? Because
it would almost seem that nothing was lost permanently, right? But but because it was something,
no conscience,
and given the fact that it was specifically asking about its blade and Shinobu and things like that, you would think that this is the same entity, right? But then, what happened with its 15 years that it spent, from when it returned to this town until now, right?
Traveled as windboard dust and clustered even as he was scattered, with infinite perseverance and willpower. Ah, that's good. Infinite willpower. This was a choice. He returned to this town.
Right, because that was the kind of person that he was. Yeah.
Right. Okay, this is I think this is definitely a new character then.
Right. Yeah.
Definitely.
So then the question is what is going to happen with this new character? Because at that point it really makes me think that then it has to be sort of a Shinobu resolution, and also sort of Araragi by proximity,
Yeah.
And their connection does need to be reestablished, so that makes sense. And in that sense it's kind of straightforward of we're going to the point where they're separated, so naturally the story's going to revolve around the two of them. But how is that going to go? Because
I think we have no way of really knowing at this point. It's just a huge mystery up in the wall here, because Gain really can also say that a lot of the things that we've accepted as maybe being a certain way, she's gonna be like, well, he didn't actually die, something like that, where we're gonna get maybe a little bit of a fresh
better
perspective and a better understanding on something that we accepted as
sort of ground truth stuff.
So yeah. But I mean, okay, there we go. Y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there, and any level of support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yep, I wrote a sci-fi novel called Battle Lines. It's on Amazon for purchase. Link in the description down below.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.